Last night, for the first time in 10 years, CM Punk competed inside a WWE ring. This was against Dominic Mysterio of the Judgment Day, Madison Square Garden, New York City. A huge show, non-televised, but most likely their biggest non-televised show of the year. They just waited to the very tail end, and they actually set new records last night. Again, financially, WWE is not hurting. It's when these credit cards reach their max limit, and these families can't go to these events anymore, then they're going to have to turn around and look at who is left with their TV audience. And that's where they're going backwards. But for now, these live events, especially for Christmas, that's a hot ticket. You're in a jam. You don't know what to get your kids. I'm just going to take them to WWE. And that's what happened. That's why these holiday tours, they bring in so much revenue. And the ticket prices, even over last year's prices, are up 33% on average. So it shouldn't come as too much of a shock that WWE brought in major revenue last night. I believe there was another show in Maryland that may have been the Blue Brand, and they're bringing in record revenue as well, as far as tickets sold even before the event took place. But Madison Square Garden has become the new record holder for non-televised live event, a legit sellout of over 15,000 fans in attendance. New York City, CM Punk, one of the biggest matches last night. His first match back 10 years. Dominic Mysterio. I have all the details for you guys, including a huge post-match promo by CM Punk. And it's what he says in this promo that has pretty much shaken up the wrestling world. He's not here just to hang or play second fiddle to Cody Rhodes. He actually wants to be the guy, and Cody Rhodes behind him. We'll go to exactly what Punk said, and it's very interesting. I'll actually let you guys listen to it for yourself. That's all coming up. But first and foremost, 60 seconds before I started recording this upload, I actually got the full results from last night's show. This is via Sports Illustrated, so this is pretty legit. I have not even looked at this yet, so I'm going to go over these results with you guys right now. So I may have to pause a little bit to actually think about these outcomes and the matches, because a lot of times what happens, for those that don't know, the live events set up what you're going to see on television and even pay-per-views. So they put a lot of these live events, these are where the wrestlers are going to work out the kinks in their matches, so that when they take these matches to TV, it's more pristine. So, again, this is my first time. It looks like a lot of matches. Hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. At least 10 matches. Madison Square Garden last night. All right, so let's go. These are in a specific order. I don't know if this was how it was presented last night. But Becky Lynch defeated Zoe Stark. Lynch pinned Stark around the 8-minute mark following the manhandle slam. So Zoe Stark continues to get jobbed out across the circuit. Becky Lynch with the victory. Kofi Kingston defeated Ludwig Kaiser of Imperium. Kingston won with the Trouble in Paradise. Katana Chance and Caden Carter defeated Chelsea Green and Piper Niven. That might be your sister. Piper Niven and Piper Niven to retain the WWE Women's Tag titles. Chance and Carter keeping their title. I guess that was a title match. I don't know how Piper Niven is even still in this equation. She never even got the championship. She took it, claimed herself champ, and she still gets opportunities across the circuit. Anyway, Omos defeated R-Truth in less than a minute, is what it says here. Omos, I told you guys he didn't go anywhere. In an upload I put up last week, a lot of people think Omos is no longer with WWE. No, he's just doing a lot of house shows. They still are trying to find out where to fit him in on television. Omos defeats R-Truth less than a minute. MVP said he would pay R-Truth money if he could knock Omos off his feet, and he failed. So that's a nice little stipulation there to pump up the crowd. Looks like R-Truth is still playing kind of the comedy act. And MVP, I think the most interesting thing here is MVP is still with Omos. So they're not going to separate them. anytime soon, it looks like. Rhea Ripley defeated Shayna Baszler and Ivy Nile in a three-way match to retain the Women's World Championship. Ripley pinned Baszler to retain the title, so it looks like they're trying to protect Ivy Nile. On one hand, it's good to see. On the other hand, I don't know how I feel about Shayna Baszler being jobbed out on TV and across the country. Finn Balor and Damian Priest defeat Sami Zayn and Jey Uso to retain the undisputed WWE Tag Team titles. So a big victory for the Judgment Day over crowd favorites Sami Zayn and Jey Uso. Balor and Priest retain. CM Punk defeated Dominic Mysterio. Punk would win this match with the GTS. I have more details on that, of course, coming up in just a minute. Punk defeats Dominic Mysterio with the GTS. Ricochet defeated Bronson Reed. Ricochet wins in just over 3 minutes. So Bronson Reed, this beast who everybody thought, man, they're going to do big things with Bronson. Not so fast. Little tiny Ricochet is beating Bronson Reed. And it doesn't say here, but I wouldn't doubt that it's with the awe-inspiring, ultra-devastating fruit roll-up. Cody Rhodes would defeat Shinsuke Nakamura in a bull rope match. No way Cody could lose that. Man, Shinsuke's pulling off so much, just his best work of his career, at least for WWE anyway, in this heel role, in this story he's got with Cody. So even though Cody has to win, it still sucks to see Shinsuke losing these matches. Seth Rollins defeated Drew McIntyre in the main event, a no DQ, no countout match to retain the World Heavyweight title. And after the match, Rollins dedicated this win to the memory of Brody Lee and Bray Wyatt. Wow, that's my first time reading that, so that's really cool. Very cool. Seth Rollins has been doing a lot of high praise on Bray Wyatt lately. Really good to see. And by the way, the 26th, that was last night. That's when this show was presented. I believe that was the 3-year anniversary of the passing of Brody. I'll recheck that, but I think that was the 26th because I believe his wife actually sent out a heartfelt message as well within the last 24 hours. So I believe that's why Sethington is dedicating the match to not just Brody, but also Bray Wyatt, because Bray Wyatt, man, Madison Square Garden. If you guys could just see, hear, feel the response that Bray got in the Garden. They just loved him. Bray loved the Garden, and just a special place. So pretty cool, man. That's really cool to know for Sethington Rollins. I feel a lot better that Seth Rollins was Superstar of the Year for the Christmas Coffee Awards. All right, guys, so that's the results. Pretty cool to see. Again, I found out about that reading it with you guys, man. I did not pre-read those, so pretty cool. All right, now, for CM Punk, a little bit of details for last night's matchup. His first matchup in WWE in 10 years. CM Punk. Very interesting. First, if we're going to talk details, let's talk details, right? He was sporting the old school Punk trunks. Now, that's a big deal because a few days ago, if you guys remember, he put up on his social that he was sporting the pants for his first match back in 10 years against Dominic Mysterio, Madison Square Garden. He's going to sport the AEW pants, right? And big words over the picture, just says, "Let's go." And within 2 minutes, that post was taken down. Now, on one hand, you could think, well, maybe he got it mixed up. No, he's going to wear the trunks at Madison Square Garden. And he just mixed it up. And he's like, oh, got to take that down. Or on the flip side, he could have just gotten some backlash because he's going to wear the pants. Because some fans actually get upset with that stuff. Why do you got to wear the pants, man? CM Punk is only CM Punk when he's got the trunks on. Who knows? So he's like, you know what? Screw it. And he looks at AJ and he says, I'm going to wear the trunks in MSG. So that was interesting because he had put that photo out that he's got his gear ready for the Garden, and it was the pants. And then he comes out with the trunks. He does the it's clobbering time at the entrance, but he actually just yells out "it's," and he lets the Madison Square Garden crowd finish clobbering time. He gives a big hug to a girl in the front row, Everybody's tweaking out. Great response. And he pretty much dominates the match. He looks pretty dang good in this match, too, from what I've seen. Better than a lot of his AEW matches, actually. So you could tell he really took this seriously. We know that he was at the Performance Center several times over the last several weeks. So he was really taking this seriously. Maybe Dominic was with him. But this was a decent to even good match that saw CM Punk in full control for the most part. At the end, a GTS, go to sleep finish. Finished Dominic Mysterio. But it's post-match, guys. This is what Punk said afterwards. He grabbed the microphone. He has a message to MSG, but to everybody. And the words that is really rattling everybody is that he's not there to finish the story. He's just beginning. Listen yourself. I'm going to let you guys listen to this.
That was from my boy Uso back there. This was for all of you. I'll be honest, there's a little part of me that came here from me. But you guys are the high tide that raises all ships. You have carried me throughout my career to my greatest moments, and this is one of them. So I want you to look to your left, and I want you to look to your right. I want you to look at the people behind you. I want you to say hello to your neighbors. I want you to shake hands. We are all in this together. When I wake up in the morning, when somebody asks me how my day is, I say, hey, I woke up this morning. Everything else after that, I'm fortunate for. Every day I'm in this ring in front of all of you, I am fortunate for. I came back here to finish what I started. It starts tonight in the world's most famous arena in front of you, the greatest fans on earth. And I know I got stiff competition, but I'm here to finish what I started. And when I win the Royal Rumble and go on to main event WrestleMania, ladies and gentlemen, I'm here to let you know that that isn't me finishing my story. That's just me getting started.
Okay, so first of all, who's that dude and what did they do with the real CM Punk? It's the old Eminem. Will the real Slim Shady please stand up? We've seen this version of Punk in the past, and pretty quickly it went right back to the older version of Punk. But this seems to be another level. We're all hoping this is genuine, right? We're all hoping that because it's just best for business if it is. And it's better for Punk. We want the dude to genuinely be happy because everybody else in the locker room will be less miserable. And it'll just be better. And it'll be, you can get that vibe just by watching, right? Whether live at an event or on television, you can see that people are genuinely happy. And it starts with the people that you do work with. I understand that. And it's just, on one hand, you have people going, this is obviously phony, right? There's no way that, okay, people can change, but not like that. Not a complete 180. Passing 360, 490, 720. You're not changing like that. Full circle and beyond. In a snap of a finger, blink of an eye. It's just not happening. So it's got to be phony, right? There's fans that are saying that. And then there's fans going, no, the dude genuinely knows that this is his last chance. He cannot burn this bridge twice, right? He burned this particular bridge before. Burnt it down to a crisp. WWE had to restructure the whole thing, pretty much rebuild an entirely new bridge, and they're letting Punk back on it. So you can't burn the same bridge. So there's people saying, you know what? No, this is genuine. Like he's waking up and he realizes like, wow, I'm actually back in WWE. He tried things elsewhere and he saw that the grass was not greener on the other side in this situation. So he wanted to be back in WWE and here he is. So there's fans that are saying, no, I know it seems phony, but this is real. He's more grateful and more thankful than ever before. Possibly. That's what we're hoping for. I'm not going to lie, that there's because I just saw this with Aaron Rodgers, right? The last few years with the Packers, he turned into an ultimate diva. He just wanted just all the attention, the cameras. He would say the weirdest things, do the wildest things. And he started trying to overshadow our coach and just like visibly like shaking his head when the coach would call in a play, things you just don't do on camera. And just overshadowing the coach and making the dude look like an idiot. The whole coaching staff at times. And just going out there and just casually just overriding certain plays and situations. Just little things like that. And then completely dominating the news cycles and headlines. And so he goes. It just became too much to handle. As much as I loved Aaron Rodgers in that green and gold of the Green Bay Packers. Every Packer fan knew this was a marriage that had to end in divorce because it wasn't working anymore. Rodgers is not happy. The Packers are not happy. So we worked out a deal where Rodgers couldn't go off and he went to the New York Jets. And I'm telling you, this Rodgers that New York is seeing, I mean, this is completely just not right. You want to say it's completely phony because it has to be, right? This Aaron Rodgers, guys, I mean, he's shaking hands. He's patting little babies on the head. He's shaking little kids' hands. He's going to Broadway shows with teammates. I mean, this is things he never did. There's so many Packer teammates that said he just kept to himself, didn't want to bother with anybody. A little bit of a douche, actually. A straight up ass, a jerk, a prick. And this dude is, I mean, he's going to dinners and Broadway shows. He's going to New York Knicks games, Ranger games. I mean, he's out there, he's smiling. I mean, this was not the Aaron Rodgers that Green Bay was seeing. So, I mean, that was a complete 180, 243, 67, 90. This was a complete cycle. Snap of a finger, blink of an eye. It comes across as really phony, right? So it's funny to see that Aaron Rodgers completely change like overnight. And then see CM Punk completely change basically overnight. So I totally understand those that are saying this is completely phony. But I also understand why people are saying, you know what, it doesn't matter. At this point, the bridge cannot be burnt again. So let's all just hope that this smile is going to last, that he will not turn into the old Punk, so that everybody can do good business and we don't have any of this drama in another wrestling locker room. Listen, I'm on that side of the fence, all right? I truly am. Whether I'm a fan of CM Punk or not, whether I would sit and have a coffee with CM Punk or not, doesn't even matter. I want the best possible product. I want the best possible CM Punk. And in order to do that, he's got to change a little bit, right? I mean, he's got to have a few more friends in the locker room. He's got to be a little less miserable so that people around him can be a little less miserable. We know this, right? So I'm going to take his words, and I'm hoping that he, more than anything, takes those words and really runs with it. Now, it's a little too far. I'm not going to lie, right? I mean, he's in New York City. When he says, I want you to look to your right, look to your left, look behind you, and shake hands with one another and say, how are you to your neighbor? That's not New York. Clearly, he's from Chicago. We don't do that. We walk out of our apartment, we're screaming at the neighbor. What are you doing? Get up, walk, get out of the elevator. I'm trying to get in the elevator. What are you fucking looking at me for? Get out of here. The real Italian comes out of you or whatever you are. But that New York, you're screaming, but you learned that's just the way of life. You know, that night you could hold the door for your neighbor too. So you're screaming at them that morning and you're holding the door because they got 7 bags of grocery by night. You're not coming to a fisticuffs, but yeah, you're shouting. If it needs to come to such, you will. But you're not turning to your neighbor and saying salute and hello and hey, want to come over for some coffee? And that's not what we're doing. We're all into what we're doing at that moment. That's New York. It's moment by moment. There's so much to do. There's so much to get done. There's not enough hours in a day. Just how it is. So it was hilarious when Punk is like, look to your left, look to your right, look behind you, shake your neighbor's hand, say hello to your neighbor. And if you watch the crowd, nobody did it. That's just not New York. You mind your own. So that was hilarious. It was a little overboard. That part was definitely a little phony, or at least probably could have been kept from maybe Chicago is like that. I don't know. But New York definitely ain't going to handle that. That's not the way that we go about business. But I mean, we are respectful to our neighbor, as long as they ain't crossing any lines or boundaries. But we're not going to go over the top and start shaking everything. That's not what we do. So it was funny. If you look at the crowd, there's a vid on it. It's not happening. It was funny, though. And then on top of that, before we get to the real good part of this promo, which we have to talk about, obviously, man, it's the fact that he's really playing this ultimate good guy face. I mean, he's really taking Cody Rhodes' role, whether he knows it or not, whether it's conscious or subconscious. I mean, he's playing the ultimate smiling, we're all in this together, it's our journey over every other journey. He's playing that role, that character, guys. But that's the Cody Rhodes character. That's everything that makes Cody Rhodes, right? So Punk is playing that like this is, I mean, it's almost like his own yes movement, thankfully without the damn yes, right? Without the actual, that part of the movement. It's almost like it's us versus everyone. And Punk is trying to rally up the troops, but Cody Rhodes is doing that. And that leads us into the best part of this promo because it's really eye-opening when he says, and I quote, "When I win the Royal Rumble and go on to main event WrestleMania, that will not be me finishing my story. That'll be me just beginning." A direct response to the whole Cody Rhodes finish my story saga that we've all been on for a year too long now. That should have ended at this past year's WrestleMania. But we had to go on this struggle in adversity world tour. Wait a whole nother year just to try to get to Cody and Roman again. Like we're going to feel that same feeling we did at 39. Struggle in adversity. We needed to see another year of several matches of Cody versus Brock for no reason. Cody versus the Judgment Day 60 times this year. 60 of Cody Rhodes' 90-plus victories were over Judgment Day members. That is why we had to wait another year to see Cody Rhodes win that championship. And now we're still on this Finish My Story World Tour. Well, CM Punk is saying, no, I'm done with that. I was never on board with that. I have nothing to do with finishing stories. I'm here to just begin my tale. I'm here to finish what I started and then begin the new saga. That is what he is saying in this promo. And you know that because several times now he has referenced this finishing of the story. And of course, Cody Rhodes is the leader of that movement. CM Punk is not here to play second fiddle. He's not here just to be another top face in the company. And they have plenty, trust me. From LA Knight to Randy Orton to Yeet. CM Punk, who gave a shout out to Jey Uso at the beginning of that promo with a yeet. You got the Cody Rhodeses, you got the Sami Zayns. There are so many faces in WWE. I don't think Punk is interested to play second or third fiddle to any of them, but especially Cody Rhodes. Because Punk knows that's the direct competition for him, right? Royal Rumble winner. If you take away Cody Rhodes, you could easily say it's CM Punk so he can get to the matchup with Sethington Rollins. Makes sense. And that would be the main event, right? The only other main event, aside from Roman Reigns and Cody, if they can't get The Rock to take on Roman. The only other main event, like the true main event. Yeah, I know you have two nights, two main events, but there's only ever one real main event, right? That Sunday night main event. The only one that stands in the way of CM Punk and Sethington Rollins, one-on-one for the title with the story that they've already had sitting in everyone's lap. The only thing that stands in their way to trump that would possibly be Roman Reigns' match, either with Rock or, of course, Cody Rhodes. So Punk knows it's not really LA Knight, it's not Randy Orton. Orton will lose to Roman Reigns at the Rumble. And then Roman will go, or Randy Orton will go on to some second-tier match for Mania. LA Knight will go on, who knows? The top of the line for LA Knight looks to be a Logan Paul US title win at Mania. Don't even get me started on that. So CM Punk knows this, and he keeps bringing up the story and how he's not interested in finishing any story. He's there to finish what he started, but he's just beginning. So there's two different tales being played here by Cody Rhodes and CM Punk. One is totally contradicting the other. Cody is trying to just do his own thing, but Punk is just letting you know. All this talk about finishing stories. I'm not here to be overshadowed by Cody Rhodes or another main event that is somehow going to trump mine. Now, I don't know how you guys feel about that. Do you think that Cody Rhodes is the top guy and CM Punk has to settle into second, and that's being generous? He should be happy to be back in WWE, let alone have the second biggest spot for the faces. Do you guys feel that way? Or do you feel that CM Punk does bring the most eyeballs? He's got the most buzz behind him. He's got the better match for Mania as far as fan interest. Seth Rollins versus CM Punk with the story that they have, the title on the line. Do you think that's a better match than Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes, right? We've had this discussion once before. But because CM Punk is saying these type of things, well, you gotta kind of circle back to that conversation, right? Is CM Punk and Seth Rollins' Mania match, is it bigger and better and grander than Roman Reigns versus Cody Rhodes Part 2? Where everybody knows that Cody is going to try to finish his story again for the second year in a row. And maybe this time he does what he should have done a year earlier. But by that time, is Seth Rollins and CM Punk in their storyline, is it so epic? Is it so masterful? There's no way you can put that on Saturday night. There's a problem here, and it's a good problem to have. CM Punk and Cody Rhodes are going to pretty much battle for that number one spot, that number one face in WWE. Cody Rhodes, for over a year now, has been that guy. CM Punk is now saying, hold my coffee. I'm back. You can take Saturday night, kid. I'm taking Sunday night. It's going to be interesting. Anyway, that's what I got for you. That's the details. A big night in Madison Square Garden, New York City. A huge night for CM Punk in WWE. First time in 10 years. Easily the most polarizing dude in the pro wrestling world. Somehow, some way. Still not even sure how or why. But he is. And he returned to competition in WWE last night, defeating Dominic Mysterio, and his message is clear. I'm not here to play second fiddle. I'm winning that damn Rumble. I'm not here to take Saturday night's main event. I'm here to be the main event. Guys, that's what I got for you. Until next time, and there will be that next time. Top guys, we are out. BC, saying check you. Peace.